Hey guys, this is ATCY with the final character in Sora announced for Ultimate. We now have the complete roster for this game, so I figured now was as good as time as any to go through each character and rank them depending on whether or not I completed a game from their series. Obviously, there's a lot of source material between these different characters and different series represented, so I think we should start this off by setting a few ground rules. If a character has a series icon, they will be representing their specific series. So characters like Wario and Yoshi, who originated from Mario, they will be representing their own series. So Wario with WarioWare and Wario Land, and Yoshi with the Yoshi Story games. Secondly, if there are specific iterations of a character, such as Link and Toon Link and Young Link, they're all links from different timelines, or at least different parts of the same timeline. They will be representing their own games. So, for example, if I were to say have beaten Majora's Mask, that will count for Young Link, but that will not count for Toon Link or Breath of the Wild Link because those characters aren't being represented in Majora's Mask. And thirdly, I will also be making exceptions for certain characters, such as like we have Daisy, for example. She is a Mario character, but she only has a prominent role in one Mario game, not including side games. I'm not counting this in this tier list. So for me to have Daisy counted off, I will have to have beaten her specific game. So and there is one more thing I'm going to be doing with the Pokemon characters. While the newest gen accounts, well, besides Sword and Shield, while the Alola games would have every Pokemon represented in Smash available to be caught, I am only counting the Pokemon for their specific generations. With all that said, that should wrap things up, and we are good to go. Alright, well, let's real quick explain what each tier means. 100% means I 100% at least a game represented in the franchise or the character that's in the tier. Completed means I beat the main quest, so to speak. Experienced me refers to games that are like, Animal Crossing or Minecraft games that you don't really have a definitive end, even if they do kind of have a major goal that you achieve. The game is more about experiencing it from day to day. Some experience refers to games that are that would go in experienced here if I had properly fully experienced what they have to offer, and it also refers to games that I didn't beat the main quest of at some point. No experience clearly means games that I haven't played at all, really. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into this. So, we're going to start with the Mario characters. I have 100%ed Super Mario Galaxy 1 and Super Mario 64. Um, I have actually beaten Daisy's game. You don't. There's not really collectibles or anything in that game. You just beat the main quest, so I'm not really sure if you can count that as 100%ed. Um, I have actually played Dr. Mario, but it's one of those games you that it's all about getting a high score and stuff. The game never ends. You keep going and going and going and going. Like I said, I 100% Super Mario Galaxy. I beaten Super Mario Sunshine, which is the debut game of Bowser Jr. Piranha Plant is in so many games. It's very easy to say that of 100% of the game that he's from. Up next, we have the Donkey Kong characters, and I've actually not beaten a single Donkey Kong Country game, but I have played through a lot of the Donkey Kong Country, the first one for the Super Nintendo. But like I said, I've never really beaten it. I haven't beaten Breath of the Wild. I like filled out the map. Like you go to different towers to fill out the world map. I've beaten Ocarina of Time. I did try to 100% it, but I wasn't really able to quite pull it off. Next up is Zelda, and the Zelda in Smash actually represents two different Zelda games, A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds, and I have actually beaten neither of those games. She's kind of a combination of the two. I'm not too sure like if the Zeldas between those two games are the same Zelda or they're different canons. I don't know the Legend of Zelda lore that well, but I have played through A Link to the Past. I just never actually beat it. I didn't beat Wind Waker, but I did play a lot of Wind Waker, and I beat Phantom Hourglass, which is the same Toon Link that's represented in Smash. Next up, we have Metroid. I have beaten Super Metroid. Um, it is legitimately a masterpiece of Metroidvanias. It's a incredibly good game. If you haven't played it, go back and give it a shot. Dark Samus is actually from the Prime games. She's not represented in any of the normal Metroid games, but I have beaten Metroid Prime 2, which she is present in. Now, as far as Smash is concerned, they really treat ZSS like she debuted in a different game other than the original Metroid, and obviously she's the same person as the Samus in the suit. Um, I have beaten games after the game that Smash lists as her debut game, and this design of Samus is present in those games. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I've beaten a game that Zero Suit Samus is in. Ridley is in Super Metroid, easily beaten. I have 100%ed Kirby All Stars Ultra, I think, Superstar Ultra for the DS. So I can safely put the entire Kirby cast in 100%ed. Now Star Fox was like one of my childhood favorite games, and I 100%ed it enough times for each character in Smash. So I'm gonna clearly say that they are all in the 100% tier. Up next we have Pokemon. I have beaten the first gen of Pokemon games, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these guys up in there real quick. Just give me a second. I've also beaten the second gen, so we can put Pichu there. I've actually beaten every gen, so let's just cut to the chase and put the rest of the Pokemon cast in here. I've never completed the Pokedex. I tried for a short time, like, this isn't as fun as much as it is for bragging rights. I have beaten Earthbound. And Mother 3 as of recently, as a matter of fact. So both are really fun, quirky games. They're worth looking into. Now, the next game we have up is Fire Emblem, and
Have I played a Fire Emblem game? Just not too sure.
alright, so next, Kid Icarus. I played a little bit of the classic Kid Icarus games. I have beaten Kid Icarus Uprising more than once. I think it's honestly one of the best games on the 3DS, and what is it like it's kind of like Sakurai's pet project. The games are great. And they're kind of light-hearted in the same way Earthbound is, while actually kind of having a bit of an engaging story, like unexpectedly impressive storytelling. Next up, we have Animal Crossing, and I've played a lot of Animal Crossing games, so I'm going to say that I have really experienced what the games have to offer. I played the one on GameCube. I think that one was just called Animal Crossing in America. I've played the one on the 3DS. I think I played the one on the DS a little bit. I played the one on the Wii. I played the one on the Wii U. I think there's one on the Wii U. I could be mistaken though. And I have played the most recent one on the Switch. So I've been able to appreciate what the games have to offer. Next up is Xenoblade, and I've actually gotten halfway through Xenoblade 1, like 30 hours in, and then I pretty much lost all my save data. So, unfortunately, whenever I get back around to that game, I'm gonna have to play about 30 hours of gameplay to catch up to where I was. I've never played Xenoblade 2, however, so I'm going to put that one a no experience, the first one we have on the list here. Next up is Castlevania, and I have beaten the first Castlevania game. It's a really hard game, so I'm gonna be honest. I cheated a little bit with save states, but I did do my best to avoid that as much as possible. Nonetheless, I'm gonna say I've beaten Castlevania 1. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Next up is Rondo of Blood, which I think is the only Castlevania game that Richter has actually made an appearance in. I haven't played it. I'm just gonna be honest. Now, I kind of grouped all the fighting game characters together. I have played every fighting game represented in Smash to different degrees, but I really like you don't really beat fighting games, you experience it with friends. But like I don't think I've really gotten gotten into the meat of these games. I have played a good bit of Tekken, but even then, I never really got to the more advanced techniques and stuff, and I definitely didn't get into the more advanced stuff of Fatal Fury or Street Fighter. Honestly, my favorite fighting game that I played other than Smash is SoCal, which is a little bit of a disappointment. It didn't get some form of representation. Now we have Final Fantasy VII. Now I actually beat 7 in anticipation for Sephiroth's release. I was it was such a hype trailer. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to my 10-hour save of Final Fantasy VII. I'm just gonna try to beat this game. Maybe it was even a 5-hour save and try to beat it before Sephiroth came out. And I grinded that game until it was done. And I was barely able to, but I finished that game before Sephiroth actually released. Okay, next up are characters or series, I should say, who only have one rep apiece. I wanted to get the massive characters done first. And up first in these single rep games are Yoshi, and I have 100%ed Yoshi's story for the 64. So I'm gonna put them there. Next up is Ice Climbers. They're kind of similar to Dr. Mario in the fact that I think there is kind of like a quote unquote end, but the games are more about like going as far as you can and looping back around over and over and over and just going until you game over. Next up is Game & Watch. Exact same story here. I played a Game & Watch game. You don't really need to play these games for too long to kind of get the appeal and what the game is all about. I have played some F-Zero, but like the fighting game characters, I don't think I really got into the meat of those games. The F-Zero is honestly a really deep action racer game. I'm not really sure how else to put it, and it's a lot of fun if you have like a group of friends to play. It's honestly one of the games that I think one of the few races I can imagine working really well in a tournament setting. Anyways, up next is Wario, who represents the WarioWare and Wario Land games. Um, I played a lot of WarioWare games, but I never really got too deep into them. However, I have 100%ed Wario Land 4 for the Game Boy Advance, so I can confidently put Wario in that tier. Next up is Metal Gear Solid, and I played a little bit of Metal Gear Solid, like about 5 hours, like the PlayStation, the first one, on the PlayStation, and I don't know. It just didn't really hook me the first time I played. I haven't gone back and tried it again. I think I could find more to enjoy about it if I played it again. But until then, I'm just going to put Snake into the some experience here. Now we have Sonic, and as a kid, I was a huge Sonic fan. I struggled through the dark age of Sonic and consistently bought his games, even when most people didn't like them. I personally love Sonic and the Black Knight. I'm pretty sure I 100% of that game, but I for sure 100% of Sonic Adventure 2. Um, I've also beaten a lot of the classic games, but I never really got the good endings. You have to get all the MacGuffin emeralds of those respective games to get the good ending, but I don't think I ever got the good ending on any of those classic games. Um, I I've beaten every modern Sonic game that's not Sonic 06. And I'm pretty sure there might have been a couple games that were mainline games that didn't release on a Nintendo console. So I didn't play those, but for the most part, I've been up to date on modern Sonic games. Sonic Forces is a little underrated, but it's still not that good. I hope they give us a real Sonic game soon. Up next is Pikmin, and I have very little experience with Pikmin. I played it for about 2 hours and then I stopped playing it. I put more time into Metal Gear Solid. I'm gonna be honest. And now Rob. I've never owned a Rob, and I've never played Gyromite. So I'm just gonna put him in no experience for now. And next is Mega Man. And actually, I played a classic Mega Man game under the duress of my buddy Zote, who was very insistent that I give this game seriously a shot. Up next, we have Wii Fit. Um, Refit is definitely not a game you beat. It's a day-to-day fitness app basically, but with a corresponding scale. And I actually played this game like like from day to day for a little while, and it's better than what you're probably expecting, but it's ultimately it's like just get a gym membership. Like just get a gym membership or get someone to walk you through the workouts themselves. Like it's a nice peripheral. It's not worthless. It's just if you're really going to invest yourself in fitness, just go to the gym. Up next is Punch Out, and I've never 100% a Punch Out game, but I have beaten Punch Out for the Wii, and it is a really good game. I don't expect any more games coming out for this series. So, um, it's if you guys get a chance, go back and play Punch Out for the Wii. Up next are the Mii's. Now they either represent the Wii series of games like Wii Sports and Wii Play, and those kinds of games, or they represent Smash. Either way, I'm fully covered in this regard, so I'm going to put them in the experience tier since a lot of their games don't really have like a definitive end. They're all just about playing and enjoying your time with those games. Now we have Pac-Man, and like I've said with these other games, it's an arcade game. The point of this game is just to play it until you game over. I think I can confidently say I played enough of the arcade Pac-Man to say that I get the appeal of that game. And the same could be said for Duck Hunt. I won't go too much further into that. It's a pretty straightforward game. Now we have Bayonetta. I've never played a Bayonetta game. They look really good, but I've never gone out of my way to finally like, pick up Bayonetta and give it a real shot. Splatoon. Now I didn't play through the story mode, but the real appeal of Splatoon is not the one player, but the two player, the multiplayer, I should say. Um, and I'm gonna say I've properly experienced the games because they are like I said, they're all about the multiplayer aspect, and I think I understood how the game functioned well enough to say that I thoroughly experienced what it's all about. I played a lot of Splatoon 2 with my buddy Zote, who I've mentioned before with Mega Man, and Rival, who is one of my streaming buddies. So like we've like been on teams, played a lot of Splatfest, all that good stuff. Next up is Persona, and I have gotten past the opening menu screen with Persona 5. So you could say I have some experience, but the controller stopped working, so I'm just going to say I have no experience with those games. I have also never played a Dragon Quest game. I know they're really good. I really want to give them a shot, but they're JRPGs. Uh, I can get into a JRPG, but it's just so long. Um, Nonetheless, we'll move on to Banjo Kazooie, and I have 100% of the first Banjo Kazooie like probably 3 or 4 times, honestly. The gameplay is a little bit dated, I know, but if you could really just engross yourself in the gameplay experience of that game, I think you'll find it to be very rewarding. I've never played Arms. That's all there is to it. And Minecraft, I have played with some friends, but I know there's so much to Minecraft. There's so much you can do in Minecraft that it's just I don't think I've even really scratched the surface of it. I get the appeal, but I don't feel like I could put it in experience yet. And finally, Kingdom Hearts. I have legitimately gotten to the last world of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and didn't beat these games. So I cannot say that I've beaten a Kingdom Hearts game despite how far I've gotten into them. But anyways, I think that wraps it up for me. Why don't you guys send me your list? Tell me what games that you have and haven't played. And you know what? Now that I have this list, I can kind of look at which games I should try to pick up and try to continue. So I wonder which game I might try to play next. Maybe I'll stream it later today. Who knows?